Hi everyone, we're going to start in about 2 minutes. We're going to talk about a new product called First Step, how that works. We're also going to talk about theta clearing today. We're also going to talk about peak performance. So we're going to talk about everything in about 2-3 minutes. So, almost time. We're talking about relationships today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to talk about chaos. We're going to talk about stable data. We're going to talk about dramatization. We're going to talk about how we become our parents. We're going to talk about how we ruin relationships, why we get into relationships, what's the point of relationship. And we're also going to talk about peak performance. I have a meditation coming up on the 25th, which is become something else. You become something else in that meditation. I have a workshop on the 23rd and 24th of this month on the art of goal setting, which deals with the mesh universe, which is matter, energy, space, and time. So everything I do in all my workshop is based on theta clearing. Theta clearing uses matter, energy, space, and time, which is always flowing through you all the time, and it gets stuck. And as it gets stuck, you get stuck in life. You have a stuck energy flow. So everything that I do is based on the concept of theta clearing, which is matter, energy, space, and time. And you play with matter, energy, space, and time, but you are none of these things. And the moment you get a hang of that you're not matter, you're not energy, and you're not space, and you don't have a location, then actually you're free to imagine. You're also free to go back in the past without judgment and move forward into the future. So we're going to start now. All right. Hello everyone. So this is JR from Mirror Groups, and we're going to talk about today a new product called Two-Step. A Two-Step is a product for couples. It's a product for people who are in relationships, who have somehow polluted this space by getting in a relationship. So they can either come alone or they can come as a couple together, and we can sort the issues out quite easily. So first thing you should always get a hang of is that we believe that we live in an infinite universe, that this is an infinite universe. There's so many galaxies, there's so many planets, and the whole thing is infinite. And the moment you start to believe that you live in an infinite universe, you have the first problem, which is that you start to believe that your problems are infinite. So you have this belief system that my problems are infinite, they can never be sorted out. I live in this infinite universe. Who am I, this little person living here with all my problems? That's a lie. The universe is not infinite. The universe is actually finite. It has its boundaries, and the universe is held together by anchor points. It is not this ever-expanding, ever-crazy space. The universe is expanding, all right? So the fact that the universe is expanding means it's not infinite. That means it is finite. It is not this space that you live in, which is out of control. Your life may be out of control with your thoughts, but the universe is not out of control. Your universe may be out of control. So, therefore, your problems are also finite. And they can be sorted out. They're small problems of the mind. So you live in a finite universe. It's expanding, right? But your problems are finite. They're not infinite. So that's good news. So we live in a mesh universe, which is basically matter, energy, space, and time. The mesh universe is always flowing through us. And sometimes it gets stuck. The energy gets stuck in the form of ridges. Ridges are heavy concentration of energies which actually stop us from moving forward in life. And with theta clearing, what we do is we really assist you in what you're doing anyway. So you have circle of thoughts going all the time. You have obsessive patterns of thinking all the time. And what theta clearing really does is it holds the space for you and lets you go through that insanity one more time. And the moment you can go through insanity one more time, clearly, you can then get rid of it. It's almost as if the physical universe wants to be admired one more time. So that's what theta clearing is in a nutshell. It's easy because you're doing it anyway. At any given point, you're trying to clear your own space, but you just can't get out of it because you're stuck in it. You're stuck in the moment. So in theta clearing, what we do is we hold the space for you, and we'll let you go through your mess one more time properly, and take out all the conclusions, all the energy that was trapped in it. So now you're free to move forward in life. So what exactly is two-step? So two-step is a product for couples. How does it work? So most people get in a relationship for one simple reason: their life is in a chaos. So you've been hurt, you've been abused by somebody. It could be verbal abuse, it could be physical abuse. Either way, you're hurt, and you want to forget about it because it's painful. No one wants to feel pain, so you want to forget about your pain. So the best way to forget about your pain is to get in a new relationship. As you get in a new relationship, all you do is feeding stable data. So what is stable data? So imagine like there's a straw going through and there's data going through that straw. So two people come together and they feed stable data into the straw. As they feed the stable data, the data includes promises you make, the data includes what you do for the person, and you repeat the data over and over and over again. You stabilize the data, stabilize the data, stabilize the data, because your life is in chaos. Your life is in complete wreck. So you get two people coming together, feed stable data, and now you have a new relationship. And by the time you hypnotize the person with that data over and over again, making new promises over and over again, you have birth of a new relationship. Now that works fine, but now when the relationship is formed, you have a problem, because now you don't have a new game. So the game was forgetting, all right? So that was the first game. You want to forget. Actually, we're only on this planet to forget and remember. That's the real game, actually. There's nothing else going on. We have something called pain. We come here to forget pain, and we come to remember pain so we can get over it. That's all that's going on anyway. The game is to not know. So if you think your life is a mystery, that's by design. The game on this planet is not to know anything. And you get in trouble to find exactly what's going on. So as you feed in the stable data, you have this new relationship. Now you find yourself in space, you're occupying space for that individual. So what happens now? Chaos comes out again, because you can only bottle up the chaos for that long through the insertion of that data. So now that you have a new space with that individual, now there's no more stable data. What's going to happen? Chaos comes out again. You start to remember. So you start to dramatize. Now the real fun starts. You have drama, you have violence, you have people talking to each other in foul language, you have more abuse. Now the abuse comes out again. Physical abuse and mental abuse. This is now it comes out, because there's no more stable data left. What happens? So let's say you've been abused by when you were a child or in a previous relationship, and you lost the contest, right? So you were in a relationship and someone abused you and you lost the contest. What happens? So your cells, your body concludes that the person who abused you, who got away with it, was a superior being or had a better game. It concludes that that's a better way to survive, solve a survival. So you start to think that that's the way to survive. So you take on the personality of the person who abused you automatically. It's by default. So what happens now? You're going to bring the same actions out again to the person who you're living with. Because there's no way, you have no new game. That means you're not funneling towards a goal, which is the future. There's no more stable data going into the system, which is your relationship. Now the chaos must come out. As the chaos comes out, what comes out is the abuse you went through. You're going to carry out the same abuse now to the person who is next to you, because they're going to trigger you in many ways, and they're there for the taking. All of a sudden, your life was not going well. You get in a relationship for a while, and it goes beautiful for a while. And as the relationship goes better, you enter space. Now, that space is about to explode. because you can only keep that stuff you're trying to forget that long, and you can only forget it for that long. The system will want to reboot, will want to remember. So remembering is insanity. So if you're talking to your friends all the time about something that happened in the past, that's complete insanity, because you're living in the past. So you're dramatizing. So what are you doing when you're talking about the past? All you're doing is dramatizing. What are you dramatizing? You're dramatizing what someone did to you. And you do that using your hand gestures most of the time, or your facial expression, or you start getting emotional. So when you remember, you're dramatizing. And that's the problem we have in most relationships. They start to dramatize. They start to dramatize their past. They start to dramatize who did them what 20 years ago, and that's all they want to talk about, because there's no new game. But that's the way it's set up. So so what's the solution? What's the solution to this relationships which are now not working? Well, I'll show you one thing really quick. So what usually happens, I don't know if we can see this. What usually happens is, here we go. So what usually happens is this. When two people meet, there's a lot of attraction, right? There's a lot of attraction because they're on the opposite sides usually of the equation, this is an infinity equation I work with everyone. So in theta clearing, this is what I do. I use this equation to find out where you are exactly, and we find out where the other person is. So when you meet, you're usually on the opposite ends of the equation, which actually draws a lot of attraction towards from the other person, and you give attraction to the other person. It's a good game. So when you do give that stable data to the individual, both of you end up exactly on the same space. You're on the same point of this equation as you feed in the stable data. Now that you're at the same point, at the same dot, there's no more attraction left. You can be good friends, maybe you can be very similar, but now because you're trying so hard to please the other person with stable data, you end up on the same point in this equation. Earlier you were in the opposite ends, and that polarity worked for while getting you in a relationship. So now that you're in the same spot, the chemistry is gone. It's completely vanished. So you try to work, and all you're getting is more abusive, because you don't know what happened, because you compromise way too much to find yourself in a safe spot. All right. So from chaos to stability, chaos gives power to stability, as we know. So you found stability in that relationship, and now you're in the same spot, which is very boring. Now you can't even stand this person. I mean, you met this person like 2 years ago. This is the greatest person you ever met. Now it's over. So what we do in first step is first find out where you are on this, and then find out all the compromises you made to get to that spot. And then why you made those compromises, and you take the energy of that compromise out. So you then end up on opposite sides of the equation, and you have more attraction, because you're giving up way too much to be in this relationship. So and if you want to end the relationship, it's also possible. All you have to do is we get you on the same spot on the equation, but we also take all the energy stuck within the relationship out, which is called MEST, matter, energy, space, and time. So most of the time it's just energy that's stuck, and you take that out as well. So this is pretty cool, because you can either mend a relationship by getting yourself on the opposite end of the equation, or you can get back on the same side and end it peacefully. They're both options available. So that's the beauty of this. Grammatization, yeah. This is how really first step works. You give up way too much to end up you give way too much stable data to be in a relationship, and then you find out at the end of it there's chaos, and the chaos is the reason why it's not working out. And there's also another product called Peak Performance. Peak Performance is for individuals. These are people who are trying to set a goal for themselves in their mind, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, and they have some blockages in the way. So the way Peak Performance works is also through theta clearing. You have ridges. Ridges are stuck energy flows in your body in the form of thoughts. These are stuck thoughts, they're looping thoughts, they're quite insane. And you end up having a repeating reality every day. So you wake up and you live the same reality over and over and over, even though you know what to do. Logically, you know where to go ahead in life, but you can't just move forward in that. So with peak performance, it's the best way to get mental clarity. The only downside of peak performance is you have no one to blame but yourself when it's all over. Because right now your game is blame, and you're blaming the environment or the physical universe or someone else for your trauma. But once you have the clarity, it's actually you're doing everything to yourself, and that you are the ultimate god of your universe. Things get a lot easier. In relationship, as you know, two universes clash, and now who is the boss of the universe usually ends up trying to dominate. But in peak performance, we set a goal for yourself individually and move you forward, going towards that space. And what exactly is space? A space is just viewpoint of dimension. So if I'm looking at this room, I have a viewpoint of dimension from this height, and I look at this space. And if you're standing in front of me, you have a viewpoint of space from your viewpoint. And that's why two people can never agree on anything. And you should never try to make anyone agree to the absolute truth of your universe, because they're just yours. And the only way you can ever convince anyone that what you're looking at is the absolute truth is by making them buy what you're selling. You're selling them your universe, and most people won't buy it, actually, because they have their own universe. The only way you can make them buy it is by forcefully getting a relationship, beating them down with more pain, and feeding them that data. That's it. So, this theta clearing is brand new. It's very exciting, actually. We had a workshop last week, and we had some really good feedback from that so far. There's another workshop on 23rd and 24th of this month, which is an extended theta clearing workshop, really. It's called the Art of Goal Setting. And in that, you're setting a goal for yourself, which is probably 5 years from now or 10 years from now. But in order to do that, you have to clean a lot of mess. So, and there's systems available in the workshop. There's also a lot of education available in the workshop on how the physical universe works in terms of anchor points and terminals, how you can plant energy into anything and get away with it, because ultimately you're the god of your universe. So if you decide that, let's say, a country like New Zealand is supposed to give you energy, you decide that and how that works. Or if you think an object can give you energy, or water or river, how you as theta decide, or you make a decision what gives you energy, because nothing can give you energy unless you decide that it can give you energy. Nothing really has the power to give you any energy, by the way. Your body might need food, right? Inflow. The body wants more inflow all the time, energy, but you want outflow by nature. You're a thought producing machine. You want to organize the world. You are just focused on outflow all the time. So anchoring yourself in the future is very important, because that can be your source of energy if you choose to do that. So we live in this flawed thinking that we get energy from this plant gives me energy, or I get energy from the water, or I get this. But the point is, you decide what gives you energy, you decide what gives you power, and you draw from it. The moment you start to believe that I get energy from a certain source, that source will collapse on you. It happens in relationships as well. The moment you depend on the other person completely for energy, that person will disappear from your life. It happens all the time, because that's the universe reminding you that you're in charge. No one else is in charge of your space. So it's a very bad idea to have only one person who you assign to be your source of energy. It's called a terminal. A person who gives you energy is called a terminal, and a space that gives you energy is called an anchor point. That's the difference between an anchor point and a terminal. And usually, if you have few anchor points, it's just for the sake of the game. Anchor points don't give you any energy. People don't give you any energy. You decide that they give you energy for the sake of the game. None of this is real, and because you're taking the game way too seriously, it collapses on you all the time, and you have to restart. It's reminding you that you can do it yourself. You don't need others to constantly feed you with everything you need. So yes, in a nutshell, that's two-step. There's peak performance. There's a meditation on 25th, which is called Become Something Else. We're too caught up being ourselves all the time. We're too caught up trying to be ourselves, which is usually we're trying to live in the past. And as a result, the body doesn't heal. The body is always in mess. It's a complete chaos. So it's a very small meditation for an hour. It's called Be Something Else. So it's a temporary assist to leave your body. It's almost like a trick of the mind. It's a very seductive meditation, because it starts with you playing a game of chess with yourself, and then you slowly, through a series of commands, you can see yourself leave the body slowly. When I did that to myself once, I came back looking for my phone, because I'm addicted to my phone. So I'm like, where's my phone? And it's crazy, it's fun. So that's a meditation on 25th, which is called Become Something Else. And on the 31st, there's a self-sabotage workshop. Self-sabotage deals with your addictions. It could be food, it could be anything, it could be pleasure, it could be to your phone. And we sort out the genesis of where these things come from, and we break the ridges. So yeah, thank you very much for attending, and look forward to seeing you on 23rd or 24th, or on 25th for the meditation. All right, bye now.